get started, and I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to talk this evening about end plays, some examples of end plays or throw-in plays, or getting a ruff and discard, or basically some situations where you will benefit as declarer if you can get the opponents to lead a suit rather than you leading it. So let's have a look at this one where you're in 4 hearts. You opened 1 heart and your partner raised you to 3 hearts and you bid 4 hearts. And the opponents start off by leading the king of spades, and down comes dummy. And in the suit contract, as usual, you're going to start by working out how many possible losers you have. So I'd like you to do that now, and it's the subject of the first poll. How many potential losers do you think you have here? Looking at your hand and dummy together, how many tricks do you think you might lose? So here comes the first poll. And we have a tie between 3 and 4. Exactly 50% said 3 and 50% said 4. So let's switch back and see what we think. Well, we've got a spade to lose. We're not going to lose any hearts because we have 10 trump. So even if they were divided 3-0, we could draw the opponent's trumps. And we have no clubs to lose, but we could actually lose 3 diamonds. Now, you may say, oh, I'm not going to lose 3 tricks there, but you may. If the king and ace are in 2 different hands, and if the opponents defend correctly, if you lead a diamond and they play second hand low but cover an honor with an honor, you're in danger of the queen losing to the ace, for example, and the jack losing to the king. And yes, you do have 3 potential losers there if you lead that suit yourself. But this is an example of a holding where you can do better if the opponents lead diamonds for you. And what you're going to do here is try to get the opponents to lead a diamond. And if they lead diamonds, as long as you then play second hand low, you're guaranteed to make at least 1 diamond trick. So let's suppose we win that first trick with the ace of spades, and we start by drawing trumps. Everyone follows to the first round. So we draw 1 more round to draw the second one. And because we want our opponents to lead diamonds for us, what we want to try and do is eliminate the other suit. So we're going to draw 3 rounds of clubs here. Okay. And then we're going to play a spade at the end. And when we play a spade, someone's going to win that. And then we're going to hope that they lead something that will help us. Let's bring up the 4 hands at this point, and we can see that West here wins with a 10, but now whatever they play may help us. If they play a diamond, for example, we must play second hand low here, and now we're always going to make a diamond trick. If he plays the king, that promotes a trick with our queen and jack, and if they play the king, then again, after the ace has gone, we're going to make 1 more trick there. And we'll make 10 tricks that way. We'll avoid losing 3 diamonds. So the goal here was to hold your diamond losers to 2. And you can do that if the opponents at this point lead a diamond. The other thing they might lead at this point, if they, when West wins a 10 of spades, if they don't lead a diamond, then they will have to lead some other suit where you and dummy are both void. And if they lead a spade here, that gives you an opportunity to discard from one hand while you ruff from the other. So if we, instead of them leading a diamond here, if we change the play for them to lead a spade here, now you can avoid a diamond loser by ruffing in one hand, with a heart there while we discard a diamond. And now I hope you can see you're not going to lose more than 2 diamond tricks. So again, you'll make your 10 tricks there, whether the opponents lead a diamond or whether they lead a spade. So do look out for holdings like this, where the diamonds is a suit you really don't want to lead yourself, and you'll often do better if you can get the opponents to lead that suit. Or as in this case, if they carry on in spades, they'll give you a ruff and discard. Now, if the opponents do give you a ruff and discard, you have to sometimes think about where you want to ruff and where you want to discard. Let's look at this hand here, where East has opened a preemptive 3 clubs, and you bid 3 spades. West have a bid 5 clubs, and you were probably going to double that, but North bid 5 spades. So the opponents lead a club, and you can see North has exceptional length in spades. But nonetheless, it doesn't look like you're going to make 5 spades here, because you're always going to lose the ace of spades. You've got 1 heart to lose and 1 diamond to lose. So unfortunately, they pushed you 1 level too high, and it looks like you're going to go down 1. You will go down 1 unless the opponents make a mistake. So let's just see if we can take advantage of them making a mistake. We'll ruff that first club. Let's suppose we play a spade and West wins the ace. And I'll just bring up the forehand at this point. You can see that West here should switch to another suit here, like a heart or a diamond. If, however, they make a mistake of playing another club, that gives you a chance to make your contract, because you can ruff in one hand while you discard from the other. And you just need to think about where you're going to ruff and where you're going to discard. And you can actually do this particular one either way. You can either ruff a diamond while you, when they play a club, you can either discard a diamond here while you ruff the club in your hand, or you can ruff in dummy while you discard a heart. But you must do it one way or the other. For example, discarding a heart from dummy is no good, because it doesn't actually save you a trick. You've got a choice here. But you discard from the holding that will actually save you a trick. So on this one here, if I decide to ruff in dummy, I will of course discard a diamond from my own hand, and now I've saved a loser. Now I'm not going to lose any heart tricks. I'll just lose 1 more trick, and I'll make my 5 spades there. So there are some hands where you need to think carefully about where to ruff and where to discard if the opponents do give you that chance. Let's look at this one where you open a heart, there's a 1 spade overcall, and your partner bids 3 hearts and you raise to 4 hearts. So again, let's have a little think about our possible losers here. Seems like we've got 2 spade losers, no heart losers, no diamond losers, and we may lose to the queen of clubs, depending on how we play the suit and where the queen is, we may lose. So we're always going to make 4 hearts, but we're going to try to avoid a club loser. Now, you could try to avoid the club loser by finessing, but a better method is to end play the opponents. And maybe they will lead a club, or maybe they will lead another suit that will allow you to discard and ruff. So let's see how this goes. We'll win that first trick. Let's start by drawing trumps. We draw the first round, we play a second round, that's all the trumps gone. And we're going to plan to now get rid of the diamonds. So let's play the ace of diamonds. Let's play the king of diamonds. So we played 2 rounds of diamonds. And now at trick 6, we're in dummy. And all the trumps have gone. And I've got the second poll of the evening, which is, what are you going to play from the north hand now? So think about what you want to play here and how you're going to try to avoid losing a club trick. Let's have a look at the results. And the most popular response is a spade. 53% have gone for that, and the rest have gone for something else, either a club, the 10 of clubs was quite popular, or the 3 of clubs, or a heart. So, so let's switch back to it and see what we think. Well, if you decide to lead a club, you're essentially going to try a finesse. So if you lead a low club, or if you lead the 10 of clubs, you may lose to the queen. Depending on, as long as they don't cover the 10 with the queen. So if the queen was in the east hand, if they play the 10, he should not play the queen in this case. They should play low. And you may guess correctly where the queen is, but if not, you will lose one club trick. But the way to guarantee not losing more than 2 more tricks here is to actually play a spade. You play a spade here, and you're going to lose 2 tricks here. But what you're going to do is, after the opponents have cashed 2 spades, west is now end played. If I bring up the 4 hands, you can see the situation. You've now eliminated spades and diamonds from your own hand. So if the opponents lead a spade or a diamond, that gives you a chance to ruff in one hand while you discard from the other. Or if they lead a club, then you're not going to lose a club. It doesn't matter who's got the queen here. So if they lead the queen of diamonds, all the trumps have gone. You can just ruff in one hand while you discard here. You discard a club and you ruff in the other hand. And now I hope you can see you're not going to lose any club tricks. So much better than trying the finesse, guessing where the queen of clubs is to do the end play there. So do the end play there, and whatever they play will allow you to avoid a club loser. Do interrupt me if you have any questions on that. I see a lot of people on this hand, when they get to this point here, they're sort of wary of leading a spade here because they're going to deliberately lose tricks. But you're always going to lose those 2 spades. And by you playing the spades, you get rid of the spades. You've already got rid of the diamonds. So whatever West plays will be to your advantage. Here's a slight variant of this. Here again, we're in 4 hearts. And again, if we think about our losers, we've got 1 spade to lose. We're not going to lose a diamond because we can ruff in dummy. But in clubs, we've got the ace-10 in one hand and the jack in the other. And this is another holding where we may benefit in the opponents leading this suit than us leading it. So what we're going to do is do what we did before, eliminate all the side tricks and then throw the opponents in. So we win the first spade. Let's suppose we start by drawing trumps. We draw 1 round there. We play a second round where West discards. So there's 1 trump still out. So we draw that last trump. And we're going at some point to throw the opponents in with a spade. But before we do that, we want to eliminate the diamond suit so that they can't return a diamond. So we play the king, play the ace, ruff a diamond, and now the stage is set. Now we just play the king of spades and we exit with a spade. We let the opponents win a spade, and whatever they play may help us. If they lead a suit other than a club, then we can ruff in one hand while we discard from the other. And if they lead a club, it may help us. So let's just bring up the 4 hands at this point. If they lead a club here, you can see that this may help you avoid more than 1 club trick. If I click here on the GIB button, it's saying that the best card to play here is to play low here. So you play the 3. Now, if East plays the queen there, now you're going to perhaps make all the clubs. East at this point may well decide not to lead a club back because they can see the ace-10 in dummy, and they may realize that if they lead another club, they're just helping finesse against any honors that your partner has. So, and you can see that's what would happen here. If they led a club here, then when West plays the king, it will lose to the ace and it will promote your 10 there. So they may decide not to play that. If they play a diamond here, then you can get a ruff and discard. You might discard a club while you ruff with a 10, and now you're not going to lose any more tricks, and you'll make 11 tricks that way. So, so this was one that it was another example of an end play. You just had to play 3 rounds of diamonds in order to eliminate that suit as well. So that was a way of gaining in the club suit from your holdings. Let's have a look at this one. This was the one I sent out at the weekend. And as I think I mentioned, this hand was normally played in 3 diamonds by people. But a number of people didn't make 3 diamonds. If we have a look at the situation, let's look at the clubs to start with. You're going to lose 1 club, no diamonds, and you're going to lose a heart. Okay. And the spade situation is, again, one of these where you'd really not rather have the opponents lead this suit than you lead it. I hope you can see that if you play the spade yourself, then as long as the opponents play second hand low, but cover an honor with an honor, then you're not going to make any spade tricks. So if I lead a spade and they play low, I might play the jack, that loses to the queen. And then later on, the king will lose to the ace. So this is a situation where you really want the opponents to lead spades. So again, we're going to play similarly to the last time. We'll win that first trick. Let's draw trumps, which fall in 2 rounds. And then we can do this different ways, but let's suppose we play a heart at this point, hoping the opponents will win. And now you want the opponents to lead a spade. Well, West might well not lead a spade just yet because they've got another suit they can play, which is clubs. And if they do play a club, which is the best thing to do, you can throw them in again. So win the ace, play the king of clubs, and then play a club. And now you've thrown in West, and whatever they lead may help you here. So if they lead a low spade, it turns out that East should probably play the 9 here, although they don't necessarily know that. They may decide to play the queen, and you can beat that one with the king. And now you'll probably make a second trick with your jack. So if you now lead another spade, West will probably take their ace here, and later on you'll make a trick with your jack. Or if they don't lead another spade here, if they lead another suit, it gives you a chance to ruff in dummy here, ruff the club in dummy while you discard the spade. Either way, you make 10 tricks on that one. Anyone got any questions on that one? So I'd just like to end with a hand looking at it from the defense's point of view, and a situation where you might think you're about to be end played, and maybe you can try and avoid it happening.
Tony, can I ask a question on this board? Sorry. Yeah. Why should East-West not lead? Should they lead not a spade, but where are we? The heart, and force you to ruff?
Right.
So you were going to do that anyway. And then
at this point here, they're thrown in. So they lead clubs the first time. You win 2 clubs, so you throw them back in with another club. If they now lead a heart, it gives you a chance to ruff in one hand while you discard from the other. So if we see what happens here, if we play if they lead a heart here, you can now ruff in one hand while you discard from the other. So if you decide to discard, say, a spade there, they'll play their heart, and you can ruff that.
You have.
Okay, and now you're.
Still got. Yeah.
And now you're only going to lose 2 spades at the most. So by them playing. Yeah. So as a defender, you should be very wary of playing a suit where declarer is void in dummy and might be void in their own hand, because you give them a chance to do something that they can never do on their own. So let's have a look at this one here. This time we're going to look at it from the defender's point of view. And North opens a weak no trump, 12 to 14 points. And you've got a very nice hand. You've got, I think, 14 points. You might be thinking about doubling, which would be for penalty. Let's suppose you bid 2 hearts and South bids 2 spades. That's a weak bid. Your partner passes pass. Comes back to you. You don't really want to let them play in 2 spades. Let's suppose you bid 3 hearts and North bids 3 spades. So let's have a think about this one. Your partner leads the King of Hearts, and down comes dummy. And you need to think about the heart situation here. So you've got 6 hearts. Your partner's led the king, and there are 2 in dummy. So let's suppose we start off giving an encouraging signal, say with the 10, and your partner follows up with a 3, and you win the second trick with your ace. So you need to think about how many hearts are still outstanding. Your partner led the king and then played the 3. So that probably indicates that they started with a doubleton. The only heart that's outstanding is the queen. And if your partner started with a king, queen, 3, they should have played the king followed by the queen. So it's almost certain that South has got the queen here. So although you can see it might, declare can ruff that, at least it avoids the queen making a trick. So let's play another heart. There comes the queen. Your partner ruffs. They obviously don't have a high ruff, but they play the 8, and that's ruffed with the 9. Okay, so declarer's got the lead now, and I've got the final poll coming up because declarer now leads the 2 of spades, and the final poll is, what are you going to play? Are you going to play the ace or the 5 here? We launch that poll. Let's have a look at your responses. They're fairly evenly divided between the 5 of spades. 60% and 40% went for the ace of spades. Well, you may think this is a strange question, but what you have to realize on this hand is that you have a severe danger of being end played here. The hearts are all gone now. So if you gain the lead at some point and lead a heart, you'll give declarer a chance to ruff and discard. And you also have the advantage here of being able to see dummy and seeing that if you gain the lead and lead either minor suit, a diamond or a club, that will be wonderful for declarer, because declarer will then won't have any finesse to try in that suit. So what you have to do here is think ahead and realize that if you play a low card here, okay, and declarer now plays another spade, they will throw you in with the ace, and now you will be in the unenviable position of having to play a heart, which gives declarer a ruff and discard, or leading into the diamonds, or leading into the clubs, all of which work out very badly for you. Or if you decide to lead a heart, a suit where declarer can ruff in one hand while they discard from the other, they could discard a club from their hand while they ruff in dummy. Now, suppose they play a club and then play another club. They ruff your king, and then they cross over to the diamonds and play the ace and king. And because the queen of clubs is set up now, they can play that and discard a diamond. And played that way, they will make 10 tricks there. So this was a hand where it was important for you to realize the danger of you being end played. And here you can do something about it. So your player's fine here, but when they play a spade, you must go up with your ace because you now have a safe exit card, which is a trump. You play a trump here, and although that doesn't gain a trick, it saves you leading away from your diamond or club holding. So now what will probably happen is Declarer will probably try one of the finesses. They will try perhaps the jack, losing to the queen. And if that loses, you need to realize that you should, again, not play a club and, again, not play a heart. So in other words, the way to defeat this contract, if I click on the GIB button, is to play back a diamond. Yes, play another diamond, and Declarer can win that, but now we'll probably fall back on the club finesse, and you will make another trick there. So now that, by the way, now at this point that there are no more trumps in dummy, it doesn't matter if you lead heart here. It's not giving Declarer anything extra. They can ruff there. And Declarer will make the rest, but you'll hold Declarer to 8 tricks instead of 10 tricks they might have made if you either lead into their strength or give them a ruff and discard. So there are situations, this is one where you can see the possibility that you're going to be end played, and you can try and avoid it by leading, winning the first spade when it's played, so that you have a safe exit with the 5 of spades. We'll end the talk there. I hope you found that interesting. We've got a few hands on this topic coming up. Is there anyone who would like a partner? You can either join the game or you can speak up now and find someone there to play with.